And we are live Saturday, 4 p.m. UK. Welcome back, Seller Sessions Daily, each and every day whilst on lockdown. This week, Women in Amazon Part 4. I have Joanna Webster, Nicole Part, and Michelle Venton with me today. How you doing, guys?
Great, thank you.
Good, thanks, Danny.
Excellent. Going to go around the room. Can we start with Joanna? Can you give us a bit of background on yourself, what you do, etc., please?
Sure. Yeah. By all means, call me Jo.
Jo, yeah, sorry. We're friends, yeah.
Yeah. So I've been online on Amazon since 2014 when I started the business when I had a 2-year-old.
Yeah.
That naturally led to the baby category because I was buying off Amazon like a crazy lady. We now have a 7-figure business with my husband Anthony Webster, and we run that together from home.
Yeah.
He was able to leave his job a few years ago now to help kick it off further. His background is in e-commerce, and yeah, we sell just baby items online at the moment, UK, Europe, and US, and currently just trying to work off Amazon at the moment and try and grow the website. So that's where we are currently.
Excellent. And over to you, Nicole. Can you hear us, Nicole?
Hi. So
we need your microphone. Oh, there you are.
Yes, I can. Can you hear me?
Yeah, got you now. Sorry.
So I work with my husband. Great. So we are a team. We started selling on Amazon in 2015. We're in the sports and outdoors category. And what else can I tell you? Yes, we are in most of our business is in the States, then Germany, then the UK, and then we have I think we're on most of the platforms except for Singapore and Japan. We also have our own web sales, which is relatively small, but currently with COVID-19, we see a lot of extra sales coming through the website. Yeah. And similarly to Jo, we are also looking outside and other e-commerce platforms now and fulfilling those as well. So that's all things branching out.
Excellent. And Michelle, slightly different for you. We understand that you might be under NDAs and stuff, so I can't ask you too many probing questions today. So share with us what you can.
Yeah, sure. So prior to my Amazon business, I had a couple of retail businesses. And then as my family started to grow, I wanted to get out of retail and I stumbled across ASM and I did ASM 5. So it was about 2015. I spent probably the first 18 months learning how to sell on Amazon, selling stuff from China. Hated it, because my background had been in branding, marketing, and PR. So I guess for me, the game changer came when I sort of came out of the game for about 6 months, took a step back, really focused in on one brand that I could be passionate about, one customer, one goal. And from there, our business really took off. And we probably established that new brand in about 2017. And in 2019, we exited our brand for a 7-figure sum. So now I am sitting back a little bit, taking stock of everything we've achieved, taking stock of the lessons we've learned and working out our plan from here on.
Yeah, so it's nice. You put a bit of legacy money in the bank and now it's time to have a think. You can take a break, take a view and see what your next challenge is going to be, yeah?
Yeah, and it came, in hindsight, not saying that COVID is by any means a good thing, but for us personally, it's kind of forced us to take a step back. Yeah. And not rush into anything and not go full steam ahead, which I can tend to do. So it's kind of put the brakes on for a little bit, which is no bad thing.
Cool. What I like to always start with is just to rewind the clock and just go back to when this whole thing broke. It's for us, it's like 4 weeks ago. People know I'm on the show daily, so I don't know if you're going on about in Prague when it happened and visually seeing it unfold. But for you, Jo, when was it that you really took it serious, and you knew some serious shit was happening?
When the schools closed.
Yeah.
I kind of when you look back now, you think, how did we not see this coming? When you sort of saw everything on China and you just assumed, oh, it's over there. It's how is it going to get here? And then all of a sudden, boom, it was here.
Yeah.
In terms of our Amazon business, it affected it straight away.
Yeah.
Within the first week. And currently our sales are sort of almost down to half.
Mhm.
We sell very well in Europe, so of course, like Italy, dead in the water and things. But because kind of not unexpected, really, in terms of our product range, our bestseller is a product that you use when you're out and about. And in the baby category, obviously, you see it in the news, all this panic buying, everything that is being purchased in that category at the moment, and you see in the Amazon top 100 for baby is essentials, nappies, wipes, that kind of thing. So we're a bit lower down in the pecking order.
Yeah.
But there's, other than focusing on parts of business we've neglected, there's not too much that can be done about that until those European countries start coming back and lockdowns lifted.
Yeah, I mean, you can't control market forces, right? So you've got the products. The only thing you can do is supply different products in the current climate.
Exactly. So it's actually allowing us to focus on our product range. What else could we, what's the next thing that we could bring out? It's something that we always try and focus on, but we get sidetracked. So at the moment, we're really sort of doubling down on what's the next best thing to do, and getting to those tasks that we never have time for, really. That whilst trying to juggle childcare, quite interesting.
Which we'll get into in a moment. Let me quickly say some hellos and then we'll jump on to having a quick chat with Nick as well. So Owen says, hello, Danny and co. Tiffany's back. Morning, ladies and Danny. Christine is here. Hi, Danny. Andrew says, hi, all. Russell's joined the stream here. Jose, Alessandra. Who else have we got here? Andrew, welcome back. Michael, welcome back. Dan Venton, I think someone might know Dan Venton. He's on the call here as well.
He should be looking after the kids.
He should be looking after the kids. Hey, guys, hope you're well. Right, so, Nick, slightly different for you in the area that you are, and it affects people differently. I'm in non-essentials as well, so I've had an impact on mine, but I've got 3 businesses, so that allows me to juggle things around, right? Like Joe, I don't know if you've only got the one, so you have to make adjustments there. And then obviously with Michelle, you've exited, so that makes things a little bit easier for you. Nick, tell me about what's going on with you.
So we've gone crazy. So even though we're not in an essentials category, we still provide people with the opportunity to do a sport that they love, and they would like to have all the equipment possible. So the lockdown for us has, and being on Amazon, selling on Amazon, where you still get your deliveries, has been amazing for us, and very grateful. But we just completely, when it first hit, you have all the different scenarios you're going through, what's happening, if people then, get laid off, terrible things happening at the same time. So what we did in the beginning, we straight away went with all our different factories, one-to-one calls every day. This is the situation today. This is what we can do. This is where we need your help on. We may need you to hold any new products that we said we're going to be purchasing, but we're just going to be focusing on our core business that we've got now, and really making sure we're getting those products coming in, and doing a lot more customer service. We probably, we have a team that does customer service, but at the moment we both do 2 hours each customer service, because we get inundated by questions that our team unfortunately can't answer, and also a lot of concerns, a lot of feedback. People at home, you answer a question, they come back within minutes, so you're on a par having a conversation with them. So it's taking up a whole different level of resource that you probably wouldn't have to deal with. But no, it's great to be in the category we're in, and really grateful that we have this opportunity.
Yeah. Michelle, maybe you not be able to talk, but is there been any impact on any of your previous projects that you've exited at all?
Well, to be honest, it's having an impact. So as soon as we exited, decided to set up a new Amazon business. Why not? It's something that we know, and it's a very successful business model when you know what you're doing. So we'd be silly not to go into it again. So it's really slowed everything up. We sent over our briefs to the factories and to our agents over there, and it's just taking such a long time to get it going and to get that momentum moving. Yes, the factories are back to work, but they're prioritizing obviously their existing clients and catching up on everything that they're behind on. So for us, it's just slowed the game down a little bit. I'm also in contact, with a lot of our Chinese colleagues and friends as well. So we're listening to what's happening on the ground over there, trying to anticipate what's going to be happening for us over here as well. So we were expecting this, quite a way in advance. I speak to my Chinese colleagues every day and my friends over in China every day. We were sending them face masks when they were desperate for face masks. And ironically, about 2 weeks ago, they sent us a shipment of face masks as well over here. So, I think more than anything, it's strengthened our relationships with not only our suppliers, but our sourcing agents, everybody on the ground over there. The human element has come into our relationship a lot more over the last couple of months. And I think we're all going to benefit from that hugely.
Indeed. Jamie says, morning, Danny. Morning, ladies. Thanks again, mate. And Owen's asked a question to Joe. Do Amazon make you use FN SKU barcodes instead of manufacturer barcodes because you're in the baby category?
Ooh, I believe we do use FNSKU. That would be, and they could answer that. But yeah, we do a lot of labelling.
Yeah, cool. Going back to Michelle, just a quick one. You breached on earlier on. You said you hated Amazon at first, and you're a branding person. What's the most interesting about that? Like for most people that reached 8 figures, they're generally more technical. I've found, it's more analysis, it's more data driven, it's more about ranking and everything else. But you blew that playbook away, didn't you? And you just went after brand. Do you want to go into? Yeah,
now you see, I would dispute that, because the people I speak to that have had tremendous success have maybe who was in this game, maybe, I'm talking ASM 1, ASM 2, ASM 3.
Yeah.
Perhaps they were the ones that were having fast success using, using different methods. But now when I look at the people who are doing, 7 figures, 8 figures, they are the ones that their business is being driven by that branding, by knowing. Oh yeah, no,
they get to branding, but you saying that you hate the technical, geeky side.
The data,
but you meant, yeah.
I know fundamentally what my key metrics are. I know I have to have data. I know I need to rely on it, but I know what data I need to rely on, and the rest of it I just don't focus on at all. And you can, and I really would turn off. I wouldn't even take it in if I was listening to some of that really in-depth, nerdy data algorithm stuff. I rely on my network.
Yeah, I know. Yeah. I can see your eyes just going over.
Well, I think it's, you play to your strengths, and that's why it's so valuable to have a network around you, because my strength isn't that. So I rely on people like you to, keep me ahead of the game in that respect. And then you guys can lean on perhaps some of us that are more brand centric and come from that side.
Well, that's what's going to stay as well. Do you think as well, without breaking up the sexes, but do you think from a point of view is that the branding aspect is more led by women, the gentle touch, the more persuasive, the more, what's the word? It's not the steady flow, steady wins the race. Do you know what I mean? I find that I've observed this, and I may be wrong. I think women, for me personally, are far superior at branding to men.
Yeah, I think because branding is all about emotions, and again, not to be gender specific, but women perhaps can tap into those emotions more than the men can. Yeah. But that said, I've got a lot of male colleagues in this game who have got strong brands. But perhaps it's something they're passionate about, so that's led them down that route. Or they've just managed to find a brand, possibly by luck, by trying a SKU out that's just got traction, and then they can really start to come down that route using the data as well. But yes, overall, I would say it comes easier to the females.
Okay, so you've got partners, Nicole and Joe. You both got partners. Who is the leaders in your business? Who leans heaviest on brand side in the partnership?
Chris, I'd say Chris, because it's our target customer. He is our target customer. As Michelle, we are. It started off with building a brand. So literally from day one, we build a Facebook following. We have 83,000 on Instagram. We have a YouTube channel. We're now dabbling on Pinterest because certain elements are working well on Pinterest, but that's all because we know who our target customer is and how we target them on Facebook through ads, launching new products. We can launch quickly because we can tap into those customers and we know what they're looking for, and being at a higher price point of product that they're looking for gives us a real edge. So I'd definitely say for us, we were both quite marketing orientated, but definitely our brand is down to Chris, really.
Okay, so basically he's your avatar. He goes out, he uses all the items anyway that you sell. So he knows intimately every product, why you're launching, the changes that you're making, and everything else. Joe, same question to you, sorry, because we're all kind of talking over each other. Who leads branding on your side of the business?
Myself, although obviously, and gets, everything's back and forth, and we, sound check everything and sanity check it. And it's just, it's definitely myself. Obviously went into the baby category, and I started the business because I had a 2-year-old. And then I went on to have another child, and sort of held the fort down. And it's just because I'm in that mindset. I still have friends that are having babies at the moment. And with platforms like Instagram, I'm still very much in contact with influencers and people that tell me what they want. And I've still got that insight, even though my children are now slightly older, nearly 4, nearly 8. I can still tap into that mindset of the mum, because I've been that mum that needs that product. And I think that's really helped us.
Do you think there's going to be an explosion of babies now? Everyone's on lockdown.
Well, yeah. Not from us. We're done.
Yeah.
But I really think so. I mean, was it yourself or someone I read on Facebook today said, the boom of divorces, boom of babies, boom of this and that, and mental health issues. I mean, obviously, we've had a couple of friends and colleagues in this business that have said, look, just batten down, just hold on and ride this out if you can, and get those products lined up, which is what we're focusing on right now, and in 9 months' time it should go crazy. So
look, December and January babies,
yeah.
Okay, let's switch it up a bit. So what are you guys, we'll go around the room, what are you working on now? Because obviously there's these, I think that people in different stages, either they're sitting back, they're a little bit fearful, they're a little bit frozen, a little bit unsure what to do, they're waiting for the curve to come down, they don't know what to do next. So they're kind of stuck in between launching stuff, not launching stuff. And if we start with you, Nick, what are you guys working towards at the moment? Do you have a plan where you're going, okay, we're working to Q4, or we're looking to Jan next year and we're going to do this? I know you mentioned about off Amazon activities are taken off. What's been under the planning for you guys with what you can reveal over the last 4 weeks?
So instead of going on to other online platforms like Walmart and eBay, in, 6 to 9 months, we are focusing on the next few weeks. So that's completely changed over, as well as we are selling out so quickly. And in Europe, we can't replenish quickly enough because some of the ASINs are blocked from being, we can't send them in because they're not essential items. So we've had a project going last week together with a friend of mine and our freight forwarder of finding 3PLs to do FBM everywhere worldwide, FBM, and then also to do different platforms and our web delivery, because currently our web gets fulfilled by Amazon and our web orders in the States go out quickly, but in the UK it's like 3 weeks, 4 weeks. So that's not a great experience for the customer. So really we want to get our web orders out there through 3PL, as well as having the opportunity of doing FBM and then moving on to other platforms. So we were going to double our SKU count this year with new products all lined up, but instead we're just trying to get more products in, because the last 2 weeks we do about 4 times what we normally do at this time of year.
Yeah, makes sense.
Just the products produced and shipped and into the store.
Makes sense. Michelle, what are you up to at the moment?
Yeah, so we're in an incredibly privileged position, obviously having just exited, but in a way I feel like a novice all over again. So I'm learning, I'm devouring podcasts at the moment, I'm devouring ebooks and audiobooks. I need to learn everything, everything to do with, what do we do now? Now we've taken that money off the table, about wealth management, about real estate, about portfolio income, increasing your assets. We really need to stabilize it now. And And there's a lot to learn. You know, my head's been in the Amazon game for the last 5 years. It's quite hard to come out of it. And equally, we've got 2 new brands that we want to start on Amazon, but opening up a Seller Central account again for the first time in 5 years. Wow, that was an eye-opener. Things have changed, you know, just to get through the verification process. So again, I've gone back to being a novice. I'm learning and I'm enjoying learning about new things. And yes, we're going to do, you know, a couple more Amazon brands. I think they're incredible opportunity there. And, you know, the returns you get on Amazon, when you start looking at portfolio income, you start looking at real estate income, when you look at what you can make on Amazon, I mean, really, it's, you know, there's huge potential there. So we're going to obviously continue with that as well. But at the moment, we are just, as I said, sitting back, we're moving forward all the time, but we're learning an awful lot about the position we're in now and where we want to go.
Yeah, makes sense. Jo, what are you up to at the moment, you and Ann?
In some ways, we're kind of doing what we were doing before, really, which is just focusing on our website and getting that as good as it can be to get our sales, you know, drive traffic to our website. Amazon's always been our, you know, biggest source of income, and we've known for a long time that we need to get off. Not get off there, but, you know, make it not so dependent upon. So that's what we're working on at the moment. Lots of training, lots of, you know, meetings. And also we're finding that as people have a little bit more time, there's we've got some great networking with other high profile Amazon sellers, and, you know, just getting advice on what to do, looking at things we haven't tried before, like Pinterest. And also in terms of, for us, we've always wanted to roll out more products, and we've had little setbacks within the last sort of 6 months that have stopped us moving forward. But it's just cracking on, really, because if that baby boom does come, we want to take advantage of it.
Yeah, that makes sense. Has any of you guys had a rethink? I'm not necessarily unique, because obviously it's been booming for you guys. But thinking about having a different approach to product research and sourcing based on things like the pandemic, has it made you think about more essential goods, or are you still bullish on what you're doing? I'll go for Michelle first.
No, because the way I started my brand, a bit like Chris, Nicole's husband, I have to feel a brand. I almost have it in my gut that this is something I'm going to be passionate about, and it starts very much from that conception idea. I don't do product research looking, you know, at all of the data, using all of the tools, trying to find something, a product that I can sell and capitalize on something like this. So that's never how I would start my search process anyway. I fundamentally have to find a brand that I can be passionate about, that I can see longevity for, that I can see multiple SKUs for, but one audience, one customer, one avatar. And then I validate that by looking at the tools, the you know, the keyword research, what's going on Amazon. Yeah. So for me, something like this, yeah, you can have those moments when you think, oh, wouldn't it be lucky to be selling something like this in a market like, you know, like we're experienced, but it would never drive me to start something. I'm much more in tune with it emotionally, long term, and I have to feel it. So it wouldn't, you know, apart from thinking, oh, you know, they're in a great market at this point, you know, aren't they doing well? Or, you know, wouldn't it be good to be selling such and such? It doesn't go beyond that for me.
Yeah. So basically data comes second. You just get a feel and get a steer on stuff, come up with a concept, and then you go, oh, is there any data for this? What level of demand do I understand my customer?
Absolutely. You know, I've had lots of ideas where I think, God, I could make a really solid brand on that. I can see it on Amazon now. I can see it on the shelves in retail. I just get a feel for it. I know who the customer would be. I know what my branding would look like. I know what my message would be like. It's all there. And when I've got that and I feel it's got some depth to it, then I will go on. And if the keywords say, nah, it's a great brand idea, but no one looks for this online, they're still looking for it in the garden centers or, you know, in the retail shops, then I don't go any further. But I always come up with that first, and then I validate it. And if the validation is there, then we can move ahead. Yeah,
that makes sense. That's kind of what Jamie's saying here is, Michelle, does your product selection process look differently now, starting over compared to how you were when you added products to your existing brands? Are you looking at the data a little bit more now? So you kind of answered that question.
Yeah. So obviously I stumbled across my original brand when I was selling random stuff from China, and I just suddenly got a SKU that I thought, wow, you know, not only is this selling well, but I can really start to brand this. So that kind of evolved naturally. And then I would use the data to evolve that brand. But now, as I said, fundamentally, when I'm looking to start over again, I'm looking at what's out there in the shops, what's out there that, you know, was selling well at retail, but now they've gone into liquidation because people are looking for it online. I'm looking for what else is selling online, but possibly off of Amazon. I'm looking on Pinterest, I'm looking on Instagram, anything that I can relate to that I think is brandable and that I can talk to that customer, and there's demand for it on Amazon, then that's where I'll start.
Yeah, makes sense. Joe, anything you want to add here?
No, Michelle said it perfectly, really. I think to be invested in that niche, it's definitely something that needs emotion, and you can see it all. Like I can, you know, I don't want to leave our particular niche. I'm heavily invested in sort of the mum side of things and helping them, and to be able to, you know, there's amazing research you can get from just talking to mums about what they need, what they want, and then of course you then go and check it with the keywords and the analysis. I haven't thought about what anyone else is really selling and jumping on that and diverting away from what we're doing, other than being, you know, really happy for people that are in like supplements and outdoor products and things. You know, it's you can't predict these things. You know, there's still so much that we want to do. We'll just keep moving forward, and there's just so much we want to do within our niche that I can't see us ditching it just to, you know, hijack onto this whole situation.
Cool. Just going to quickly say some hellos. Holly here said my favourite ladies. Kim Forge joined us. Kat has joined us. Michael's here. Holly's here, of course. Florence here as well. Mark Steer, Daniel Tan. Hello, guys. Hope you're well. Eric Payne. Hope you're well, brother. I haven't seen you for a while. Graham is here as well. Yeah, so look, you've even got some love arts here. Look, my favourite label. She likes you so much she said it twice. Okay, so be good to speak about. Nix, we'll start with you and go back round the room. Let's talk social media, because you've got a massive presence with your business. You've got a big Instagram following, and obviously you can get so tunnel vision on Amazon, but it's pretty impressive. Is it 85,000 or something in terms of
83, so just below. I'm hoping.
Sorry, excuse my, I'm terrible. 83,000. Come on, Dan, get it right. Yeah, talk to me how you built that, because that's an incredible, impressive figure, especially as they're not all bots, right? You didn't pay like $5 on the. No, I'm joking. Yeah, go on.
Yeah.
Tell me about it.
So I think we have a very strong imagery. So we do take lots of photos. We work with people that love what they do, and they're great at it. So we've got a social media person dedicated to running the social media now, and it, you know, we're always trying different things, new things. We do competitions. We do, what else we do? We do caption contests. We do engagements with our customers. You know, what color would you like for the next product? Would you like this color, that color? So we do get a lot of engagement there, and sharing off their experiences and their stories when they're doing what they love doing. Yeah. So, but imagery for Instagram is obviously key, and having someone that is in that niche that knows how to talk to those people, or that avatar, I should say.
But would you say with is it because you need a lot of products to really get going, you know, your social media account? If you've got an array of products, you've got plenty to talk about. And do you have like a full-time photographer that's working on this, and a social media person, copywriter? How does it work within your business is the first question. Like, how much time, and if you don't mind saying, money do you invest? Is it like 10 grand a year, 20 grand a year, if you're allowed to say, or not? But is it something where you put a heavy chunk down to invest in, or?
Yeah, yes, definitely. We have so we work with freelancers and self-employed people who are amazing at what they do. And some of it, we've been very lucky to find the people that work with us. They are real passionate about what they do. Also with our website guy, you know, we do blogs every week, which is all written by the same person who does the social media side. We have a videographer, we have a photographer, and they work together because we do a lot of demos on how-to videos and how to use a certain product. We also not just focusing on our products, but to go with the whole lifestyle that goes with the product. So it wouldn't be always product driven. It would be more lifestyle driven, and amazing imagery, what you can do. So it just gives, even down to food that you can eat. So it will be a whole array of things, not just focus on the product, because that gets so boring. So it's more about telling a story.
So effectively, it's not a VA in the Philippines, it's a social team.
Yeah.
And do they just work on IG, or do they go across the board?
No, they go across the board. So we had we paid quite a lot of money for someone to come in and basically look at the whole setup, how it feeds into Facebook, and obviously they're using things where you schedule it and it goes into all the different platforms, but also with the blog writing, hitting the right keywords, getting SEO traction.
It's a lot of work. Yeah.
It's a lot of work, but yeah, so we've outsourced that because we can't do it. And finding somebody who can and who nails it really, and we get great feedback from it. So, and we know it's working, and we're selling through it as well. Facebook posts, sales, and things like that. So it's all coming together, but it's all part of a brand, isn't it? You're building it, and then you think, oh, does anybody actually see it? But you're finding it does, and it comes back to you, especially when we have, as I say, questions on some of the products. How do they work? And I think, oh my God. And we've got it all covered. So we've got lots of video footage of how to use it.
I'm going to come back to you about your number one tip for growth, but I'd like to get around to Michelle and to Joe as well. Starting with you, Joe, what are you doing in terms, same as with the question to Nick, what kind of following and have you built, and what chunk of the business is invested in doing so?
So our social is something that needs a lot of attention right now. We're not where we would like to be. Do it ourselves. With the sort of mum niche, we need. We just need to crack on with it. It's like Nicole's saying, the building blocks of getting your brand somewhere where you've got traffic from everywhere. So we just actually had a call with someone about a US agency last week about using them for sort of Pinterest and running organic ads. That's mums are ready to buy anything or make their life easier. So it definitely needs more attention, and I think that's where we're going from. Ant's done Facebook ads. Plenty of those. He's also getting.
Well, he does all my stuff, doesn't he? He does all the conferences and everything. So yeah.
Yeah, bless him. Yeah, he does, and he's happy to do that. It's taken him, a few years to master those Facebook ads. And he does well with it. So for me, it's for me now to take forward like the Pinterest that mums are scrolling through on their phone, and keep going with the Instagram, which I only really started. About 15 months ago, so it could do with a bit of a oomph.
Michelle, obviously it's past tense now, but I know that you spent a lot of time around your social team, did you?
Oh yeah, social media was huge for us. We were one of the first to start using ManyChat. So that's way back before it was even a word. It was huge. If you're going down the brand route, then you have to have social presence. Obviously, your sales come from Amazon. That's 99.9% of where your revenue is coming from. But the social proof is on social media. And not only is it the social proof, but you can leverage your social following. So exactly as Nix was saying, once you've got a product to launch, you can turn to them. And if they truly are your customer, if they truly are interested in your products and they're not just fake people on your social accounts, or you're not just trying to flog them any SKU that you've come up with on Amazon, then they're going to want to hear from you. They're going to want to try your product. They're going to want to leave a video review for you. They're going to want to give you feedback. And it all kind of flows full circle with your social media. And you start small, of course you do, and you think, is anyone even going to watch this? My sales come from Amazon. Why do I need to be putting time on social media? And yes, that might be true in the early days, but you then need to build that on as part of your marketing strategy, as part of your one of your assets that you can use when you're launching a product. So it became hugely, hugely important for us. And one of the loveliest things I find now that I'm out of the brand is to go back and look at the social media accounts, to think, oh my gosh, look at how far it's come. We started off with one product, and you see all these comments, and you see people, begging for more products and begging to be, the next one to have a look at the next product and giving you suggestions and ideas. So it starts small. And it doesn't have to take up a lot. It doesn't have to take your focus off of Amazon. at all, and it should be part of your plan when you're ready for it, when you've cracked everything else, and you know you're getting that revenue in. We kept it all in-house. We didn't outsource it. It was very much a part of our marketing team's job, so we kept it all in-house. But yes, it was a big part. But then you see, we can use it. We can use the videos that we got left, we can use the images that were left, and we can all use that on Amazon to help with our conversions. So it all fed into the whole traffic and conversions wheel that we spin.
Excellent. I've got a few questions here actually for Nicole. You may not answer one of these. It says, Owen, cheeky sod. Question to Nicole, can you tell us how much you spend on your social media person? So you can dodge that if you want and plead the fifth. It's up to you. And I'll tell him off call. I know Owen anyway.
25,000 a year.
Yeah. Yeah, I was going to say, it wouldn't be cheap with it, because a lot of this stuff is not necessarily you can just drop into the Philippines. There's certain things you can and can't do. Jamie says, Nicole, how often would you leverage from your socials? Is it constant, or are you worried about how often you would do promotions, etc.?
So we only really do promotions when we launch a product. Well, sometimes, obviously, Prime Day, we will then... if we now this year, we probably won't be doing an offer on Prime Day. That could be debated, but we would then push that out. We've got a large email list as well, thousands and thousands of people on our email list that we would send out through our newsletter. But yes, it's a good way to leverage things, especially for launching. And if we see a product is maybe dipping, then we would do an offer. But it's mainly for new launches.
Yeah, makes sense. Nadia, sorry. Question for Nicole. Who have you outsourced your social media to? Any recommendations?
Finds. So
you don't have to give up the name of yours, but I think what she's saying is, where would you find that resource? Yeah.
For us, it was luck, honestly. We found someone who loves what he does and in our niche, and he happens to be a content writer. Yep. So we gave him some training on the social side, as well as continue giving him training on, or buying courses on how to find keywords, SEO, bringing other people in to help him. But it's literally having somebody who, it doesn't have to be a person who does it already. It could be somebody who is just in your niche, who's amazing at one thing, and then if they have the capacity to do other things with it.
Yeah.
Cool.
Sorry.
Loads of contacts, like our photographer and videographer came from that same person, so that's separate, but they knew each other, and then we have this collaboration now, which just works really well.
Yeah, and I think sometimes it takes a little while to gel. I've got a 7-8 person team. We're working on a project we're launching in a few weeks that you know about, which no one knows about yet. But getting those together took years of piecing all of those bits together. Now I've got like a crack team that I'm really happy with, that like are very good in those positions. But it does take a while to put all of those pieces together, whether they're recommendations or you work with them individually over a period of time. And then eventually you just bring them. But it was nice to do an all hands the other day, to sit on a Zoom call and just watch everyone work and unfold their ideas in order to execute on this project. Hello, any of you, what's it say here, Jamie? Hello to any of you tried watching from the Endgame Network, Australia live stream. Awesome chat here, guys. And then we've got here, Owen, thanks, Nick. Appreciate your answer, as it's something we're seriously budgeting for moving forward. Let's talk brand. A lot of people, as we said, you know, they'll go heavy on PPC, a bit more technical, more about ranking, data-driven in terms of the products they select. What is the key criteria of one, starting a brand, and what do you look at? Starting with Jo.
Well, we've only ever just had the one brand, and actually we changed the name from that not too long ago, just because it wasn't easily recognizable. I guess not a specific set of criteria. I mean, I don't know how if we were to leave this niche, what sort of, haven't really thought about how we would set up another one. It's a bit of a difficult one, really. not quite sure how to answer that.
That's absolutely fine. I'm going to rephrase that to Michelle, because you've just started again and you created 2 brands. I know we have these discussions where I like to run around and have a dozen things spinning plates. You like to work on one thing, but now you're compromised. You've got 2 brands. Is that still one thing or 2 things?
Yeah, you're the crazy one that's got 100 things going at the same time. It freaks me out. I focus on one thing and one thing only. So we've got 2 brands in mind, and it's a little bit. We're going to get the samples in. We're going to, work out the margins, and it could be that we have a front runner, and then we just focus on that.
Gotcha.
Although my plan very much, I hope that we can find somebody to invest in who is going to manage these brands for me, but working very closely with them, almost like as a mentee. But so I'm hoping that I'm not going to be the one that's actually doing. You're not going to
be driving the bus. You're just looking after the team. Yeah.
I mean, in theory, that sounds great. In practice, can we find that person? I hope so. So I think there will be a front runner on this branding. I think it will emerge naturally, whether that comes through pricing or supply or demand or whatever. But to answer your question, for me, how do I sort of start to pull the brand together? I have to feel it. I have to want to do it. I have to want to wake up in the morning and go through the hell that we all go through with Seller Central on a daily basis. So that's my first thing. I have to have some sort of passion or alignment with the brand. There has to be space for us on Amazon. So, I'm not going to just launch a like-for-like product with someone who's got 5,000 reviews on there. I have to find space, and I have to be able to get in that space with my messaging, with my branding, with my product, with my pricing. That has to be there for us. And there has to be a customer that wants it. I have to know how to identify with that customer, and I have to know that what we're putting in front of them that they want. And then I have to be able to speak to them in a way that makes them choose our product. So I'd say those are the 3 things that I would look for when I'm thinking about how to launch a brand.
Yeah. So Nick, with you, Avatar, I know Chris was the perfect example, but still you need to test the market to know whether you're onto something.
Yeah.
With taking Chris's passion and his knowledge there and building the brand around that, obviously you knew what people want, but how did you validate that?
Talking to people, talking in our friendship circle. Would you pay this much money for this product? Would you not? What do you think about that? Was it out in the market? So I think because our first product was slightly different to what you can get out there, and we have made 3 iterations on it since, but it was slightly different. So we were, very lucky. We could have started off with another product and might not be sitting here today. So a little bit of luck definitely plays part in it as well. Choosing the right product. Having amazing suppliers that you work with and they understand your business. I think it's easy for me to say that now because they know how much volume we can push their way. But in the beginning, when you're just starting out and you're sending emails, very difficult to make them understand, you're serious, you want to make this work. So I think talking about it, having friendship groups, researching the market, what do people buy on Amazon? What do people buy in the shops? Who, how much money do they have? From Facebook, you can get all the stats on that the person buying your product is this age, has so much money, lives in this kind of house, is thinking of, okay, what do they look like and what would they look for next? So a load of our products we can cross-sell because they are adjacent, and there's lots of different things that you can put in with it. So it could be an accessory to it, or it could be the next level up. So we're always pushing it. We're always looking for the next thing that's out there. So looking at what trends are coming up on Google in our niche, looking on Etsy, even though that's not really where we sell, but it's still getting an idea of what's coming and just to be with it and what's happening in the news and in the fitness world. And, things have changed, haven't they? Yeah. Just being on trend and being with it. Wow. So I had 2 other brands before, which I did with a friend of mine. So it was 2 ladies. We did ASM4, and product research was great fun because we looked at what could make us money. In the end, it didn't make us money because everybody else was going for the same thing. So it's I definitely say go for something that you identify with and that you have a passion in and that you can see people want to buy, and maybe you can offer something that's slightly different.
Yeah.
Not just packaging.
So are we in agreement that you can't just go, do you know what, I'm just going to make a brand today, because it needs them components to come together. It's about timelines. You know, like when you're looking for something in your life that you want to do, but you're not kind of sure. So you try all these different things, and then one lands. For all of us, probably was Amazon, right? We tried a load of different things and we landed and go, do you know what, this fits the criteria for all things. Would you say it's the same with a brand as well? It's like, you can't just go, I'm going to make a brand out of this. You need to have a series of components, timing, like factories, pricing. There's all these bits that come together.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I think you need a vision. You know, fundamentally, you need a vision for a brand. I always start with my brand guidelines. If I can't see what the brand's called, I can't see what the logo looks like, I can't see it on a headline ad, or I can't see it on, you know, a sponsored ad. I have to have that vision. And by doing the brand guidelines, almost from day one, I almost know that, yeah, this feels good. I can see 20 products in this. And that's the other thing that's really important, to make sure you've got scalability there, to make sure you're not just looking at 3 products that fit within that brand. How are you going to scale it? How are you going to grow it? It's got to have longer legs to be able to fill a shelf in a shop, for example. You know,
factories is important, isn't it? Like, if you can go in depth into the factory and know their search volume,
absolutely,
that's half the battle as well.
Yeah, absolutely. And also breadth of keywords. You know, you don't want to have a brand that's all dominant on one keyword, or maybe you do if that's your strategy. But, you know, you need to be thinking of it in terms of the brand, what it looks like, who it's talking to, what it feels like, what its message is, what its products is, but also how's it going to fit on Amazon? And fundamentally, we all have to make money out of this. So is it actually going to, you know, generate? Are you going to have one hero SKU and then 10 other SKUs that just contribute? Are you going to, you know, has it got the breadth to have medium sales volume products? So they're all doing 10 a day, but they're doing 10 a day across 5 markets. So you also need to understand the sales platform as well to work out how you're going to make money from your brand.
You made an important thing there about, it's the same when with us work in the house, where we work with larger clients as well. On each account, we've worked out roughly you should only be advertising on 3 to 5 keywords on a handful of projects, even if you've got diversified, because what happens is the advertising algorithm devalues it if you try and advertise on too much. So it doesn't give you the same level of value from what we're seeing from the data. So it is important that you've got to be careful of cannibalizing yourself. So you're right, you need that breadth of keywords. Brand guidelines. So let's say, what are brand guidelines? So for you, Nicole, what constitutes brand guidelines? And how would, if someone's listening today, how would they create a set of brand guidelines?
So it's how you talk to your customer, the tone of voice, what you want to bring across. Are you a small business? Are you an expert in your field? How are you addressing that person? You know, is it hi guys, or is it, you know, how can I help you with this? Or it's definitely tone of voice. What are the colors? So what are the colors? What colors, you know, colors convey things, you know, blue or reds or purple, they all convey things. So looking at from the logo, how does it look? Making sure you have the right typeface. So if somebody comes into your organization, you can hand over the link and they can look it up, and they can literally learn within 20 minutes how to deal with the brand, what the brand stands for, what the values are, what you're trying to achieve. So it all goes in there, down to the nitty-gritty, to the font and things like that. But it has got the strategy and where we want to be and how we want to position ourselves to our customer. And I think that covers it. I'll have to check. It's quite a big document.
Yes. Same question. If you can fill any gaps there, Joe, is there anything missing on the brand guideline? Is Nick's pretty much covered it?
That was an awesome answer.
Yeah.
I just think, like, just positioning yourselves, you know, is someone going to look at you and does your brand, do you even look like a brand that would typically be in that niche? You know, you don't want to be the same as everyone else, but, you know, do you look like you could be a baby brand or a guarding brand, or, you know, like, you don't want to send mixed messages. So yeah, it's that, again, that's what I mentioned earlier. That's part of the reason we changed our brand name, because it just didn't sound, you know, we've actually got the word baby in the brand now, which, you know, is huge. So,
but equally, when you've got the name baby in the brand, sometimes it's hard to trademark as well, because it crosses other classes. Sometimes it's good. Right, there's 2 ends of the spectrum, right? So you can make up a name that doesn't mean anything, and it's going to get you easy through the trademark. But, you know, something like Nike, what does that mean?
Yeah.
It doesn't mean anything, right? But it's a great brand and everything else. But then on the flip side, you can say My Baby Accessories, and then your classes become very difficult because of people challenging it on that side. And then you've got the extreme side where you might see Chinese factories where it's X, Y, Z, and it's just like these long names that don't really matter. But from a Chinese perspective, and a lot of friends in China that I've got that sells different types of things, they see Amazon as the brand. Because that's where they don't really care, you know. They're like, they'll just go and sell commodity products, etc. Because ultimately, at the end of the day, they treat Amazon as a brand. A lot of these guys, not all, but a lot of them. Whereas I think in the West, we look at building a brand, don't we? We want a brand story and everything else. We're coming up to the top of the hour now. Is there anything you want to cover before we go? And if you don't, I'd like you to have each person to give 3 takeaways for the audience. Anyone cover anything before we disappear?
I think for scalability, for us, it's just more products. If you want to scale, it's simple as that. More products in your category, and building a brand and being fair with your suppliers and your team. And I think we've grown with our suppliers and we've grown with our team. And we started. I saw a question. We started with one supplier that had 100% of our business, which was super risky, and we got quite a lot of the products from that one supplier, which we have now diversified over about 12 different factories. So, but it's taken, this is going to be our 5th year. It's taken some time. So give yourself the time, start, test what's working, and then, now you know your customer, you know what they're looking for and the quality that you can produce, and then build from there, and then scale by, doubling your product offering.
Yeah, so being fair to the team, being fair on pricing with the factory, lots more products means more scale rather than just trying to get their hacks to get you that extra 5%, just stacking SKUs. Yeah. Michelle, 3 key points you want to add?
Yeah, don't be paralyzed. We all talk about our brands and we talk about what we're looking for. But if you're new to this, if you're new to e-commerce or selling on Amazon, brands you don't just conjure them up and then suddenly they become an overnight success. Just start somewhere. If you're picking your first product, just try if you can to brand it, even if it's just in your own head. Can you see the next 3 or 4 products coming forward? Because it will help you move forward rather than just stuck with one product. But at the end of the day, you have to learn the sales platform, and the only way you're going to learn the sales platform is to have a product live. So if you're not a branding person, don't get hung up on it. People make plenty of money on Amazon and they don't have a brand. Talking about the Chinese factories you were mentioning, they don't care about a brand. And there are some products I will buy off of Amazon. I don't care whether it's sold by XYZ factory in Shenzhen, because that's not what I'm about. So don't be hung up on this and don't let it stop you from moving forward. Baby steps, but just take those steps every single day and you will grow organically. But exactly as Nick said, if you really do want to scale something, you have to have a plan. You have to have a brand or a selection of products that you can scale to. And also don't forget that you don't do this by having a spare 500 quid in your back pocket. It does require a lot of capital investment. So even if you don't have it now, have a plan in terms of a realistic plan in terms of how you're going to achieve your goal financially as well.
Great. Jo, 3 points.
This is not to assume that this business is linear. And that, one success will lead to another success. And, we've been, nearly wiped out, last summer just from a bad experience with, one of our suppliers. So, but, we bounced back from that and then coronavirus hit. So, it will all go up and down, but just understand that, like anything, it's not going to go from 0 to 100 without a few dips. Also, more products. I mean, that's what we've been trying to do for some time now. What we're really cracking on with scalability. The more that you can offer that customer that you're passionate about, the more invested they are in your brand. And what would be the third one? Currently, we're just working on the job to be done. I think we've kind of gone back a bit to really getting into the mind of our avatar. We have several avatars, but just overall, like, what is that job to be done? What will our product, what purpose is it serving? And it can be so easy to think that that because you're passionate about your business and your brand. But there's some great podcasts and books out there about getting that job to be done figured out. And I think that's where, even though we've been doing this a few years, that's where we're going to go back to, so that we can then allow that to add more products and scale our business. So I think in terms of that, what I mean is constant learning. It's not I know this now and I'm moving on. It's just constant learning about your target market.
Excellent. Right, shall we leave it there? Ready to go? Jump off, enjoy the rest of your day, enjoy the sunshine. Guys, thank you so much for joining us, all the different groups that this was shared to as well. I'll be back here again 4 p.m. tomorrow while still on lockdown, 7 days a week. You know how we do this. Tomorrow is going to be Mindset Sunday, and we're going to talk about business vision. So come back, rejoin us here. Hope everyone's safe. Stay home. Do not go out. Stick to your gardens. Be safe. Lots of love, and I'll see you soon. Take care.
Thank you.
Thanks. Bye.
Thanks. Bye.